Hey, everybody. Thanks for hopping on for this business owner spotlight. Let's start with who you are, what do you do, and how long you been doing it?
Hi, my name is Jelena Louderback. I'm owner of Meraki Creative Corner. Um, it's a company that focuses on web development, graphic design, project management, and user interface development. I have a team in Serbia that I work with. A lot of things I do here locally, but on a bigger project, we work together. And so I've been doing this on and off for the past 10, 11 years, but since the COVID hit and I got to kind of get stuck at home, I put my focus more into it, realizing just how much of things are moving more online and everybody is developing, depending and developing businesses online. So SEO has been a big part of it. So I kind of started doing that as a side business, but it's slowly growing and I'm just going with the flow.
Fantastic. Fantastic. When you think about success, who's the first person that comes to mind?
Oh, probably my father. He's been through a lot in his life. We come from the war-torn country where we lost everything twice, our home, our possessions, everything. He was successful businessman and lost everything two times. And the third time, also, I call him Phoenix, he's one that just, rises up from ashes, from nothing, from ground zero, and just develops things. And he has this great ability to foresee things, to strategically plan and kind of see through a lot of things. So I learned a lot from him. I gained a lot of wisdom to not be overly optimistic, but to be not to be pessimist either, but kind of be very realistic person when it comes to business decisions. And so he's been kind of my coach.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
You mentioned you did this through COVID and kind of pivoted at that point into taking it a little bit more intentionally. What are the specific changes you had to make? Anything specific that you adjusted through that time frame?
I had to legalize my business. I was sole proprietor for 10 years. And when you start dealing with big companies and signing big contracts, they expect you to be more serious. So that was a big change that I had to do to go from sole proprietorship to LLC. Um, Changes, I had to find my solid team that I can depend on, and develop better and stronger business relationships with them. Um, and I just had to spend a lot of time learning myself, you know, online digital business is market that constantly changing and growing and morphing. And so if you're not into it constantly, you fall behind, things that I learned in school. We were given books to learn Adobe, you don't do Adobe from books these days, and there are new products in Adobe constantly coming out. So at my age, I call myself forever student. I'm constantly learning new things.
Yeah, it seems to be a
Yeah.
core trait of successful business people. Can I
It
ask
is.
what's the last thing you learned as you talk about that?
XD. Like I never used XD for the user interface, but I'm like, if you want to develop something that people will really appreciate and love and can interact with, and if you want to present professionally done product, especially for software development, you have to do it. I used Azure before when I worked one software company here in Omaha outsourced their work to me. I was their and I am still, I work as a contractor with them on and off basis. And so with them, I had to use so many different programs. And so Azure was one of them, but then they switched to XD. So I'm like, okay, I got to learn XD. And so it benefited me because now I'm developing these softwares for another company and I'm using XD, so it's beautiful.
Yeah. What do you think the next thing you're going to have to learn is? What are you focusing on now? What's the next growth?
Application development.
Okay.
I like
Awesome.
not to depend on anybody. And so I really want to learn to code myself. My coding abilities like XHTML,
Hmm.
typical coding for a website, but that's where it stops. PHP a little bit, I would say 20-25% I'm knowledgeable in that field. Most of my knowledge is in design phase. And I have an MBA in supply chain and logistics, so I have a lot of wisdom, I would say, where I can carry the project through. And I've done it, on the bigger projects where I would deploy team in Serbia and I would carry it through just to oversee the whole process. But no, I'm looking, Harvard and MIT are both offering classes for application development.
Hmm.
I'm not afraid to do that. Go to school along with my kiddos.
That is fantastic. Uh,
Yeah.
as we're talking about learning, growing, developing, what has been the biggest learning you've had as a business owner?
Biggest learning as a business owner, uh, always be prepared for unforeseen circumstances, hoped for the best and be prepared for the worst because it happens.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I totally agree. We see that with a lot of our clients. The ones who aren't prepared, you learn you need to be.
Yeah.
So looking at your business, you mentioned you have other businesses as well, but focusing on this one over the next 5 years, where do you see this thing going in the next 5 years?
I really want to help the team in Serbia to become bigger and better. And so I'm flying there this summer. We will spend some time in Serbia, a month or two. And I do want to invest in the country. So my dream is to have 100% dependable team and to kind of connect these two countries with the opportunities that are here, but that can benefit people there who are really struggling. Because when you look at Serbia, the average income, monthly income is maybe $500, and the price of living is almost to level here. And it's just magic. It's an art of living, how people survive there.
Yeah.
So I truly try to blend those two worlds and help people that I went to school with, that I know. Serbia is becoming IT mecca, a lot of big companies are outsourcing their things there because those kids are smart. Those kids speak perfect English. Time difference is not that big. It's only 7 hours, and so they see the value and the quality of the work that's coming out of Serbia. So my dream is to develop the team that I can manage few projects at a time, not just one, because that's currently my capacity. So hopefully, yeah, we'll get there.
That's fantastic. So you're trying to grow the amount of people you have there, or the skill sets, the capacity?
Amount of people that I have, and hopefully have a couple of people here on my team, so that I know my time will, you can only spread yourself as thin, with homeschooling my children, my time in that department will be more consumed, so I will need help. And we are currently working on two big projects. If we are waiting on a green light, hopefully in the next week or two, if that goes through, we're off to the races. And so that really opens the door for a lot of opportunities, because we are working with the government grants, tech grants. If those get approved, the team in Serbia is ready to go to develop projects, and so if one gets done well, then the next one and the next one is just a matter of time.
Right. Getting that momentum going.
Yes, so it is the matter of getting the momentum going in that way. Yeah.
Great. Let's see. So what does employment look like, both in, I guess, where you're at and in Serbia? How does that look? Is that a challenge you foresee, or is it more an opportunity?
Um, what do you mean by employment?
Uh,
Finding reliable employees, or
yes.
over there is not as big of a struggle because people are eager to work.
Okay.
And when you speak dollar values from here, people will not turn you down, you know.
Yeah.
So in that way, it's not. Here is the problem to find developers, you know. Dev teams are extremely hard to find, even though everybody is in the IT field these days.
Right.
It's like it, you know. But everybody's outsourcing somewhere. It's either India or Mexico or, you know, Eastern Europe, um, because it's hard.
Right.
And here in the United States, I tried finding few people here in Omaha to you know, help me work on the projects. And it's just, even if you find them, the price value is way, you know,
Yeah.
doesn't fit really the budget that you're given to work with.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
We see that a lot. Um, do you have any advice for someone trying to start a business, or for your 18-year-old self?
Um, Let me think about that one. Um, have a plan. Okay. A lot of times people have dreams and they get super excited,
Mhm.
but not to be kind of level-headed, but just plan it out, put it down on a paper, you know. We were taught in school you need a business plan. It's for a reason. You know, business plan doesn't have to be 30, 40 pages business plan, you know, but just to map things out is crucial.
Right.
You know, I work with a few big companies that are struggling with their business processes, and it's mind-boggling to me that company that's flipping millions, you know, and has hundred of employees needs help from the outside entity to
Mm.
come and map their business process. I'm like, why do you need me to tell you what your process looks like? You know, obviously there is this disconnect because you start from small nucleus, you know, and you start growing, and then
Mhm.
you get so excited and you want to go in this direction and in this direction. And instead of just, you know, that beautiful circle of growth, you have this amoeba, you know, of shape. It kind of is. And so a lot of things are disconnected from each other.
Right.
And that's where a lot of problem happens. So to have that map out where you see yourself now, how do you want to start, to have financial part sewn up 100%, and foresee 5, 10, 15 years, I think it's crucial because everybody wants instant. It's the I want instant gratification,
Mhm.
you know. Oh, I have an idea and I want to make it realized right now in the next year, and I want to make a lot of money.
Right.
Is
Got to
that
have that
really
vision.
is that really the goal, you know? Is it about money or is it about doing something good, you know? If you're doing business, that business will rely on relationships, on customers, on product, wherever it might be. Is it the service? Is it the product? So are we serving ourselves, or are we here developing business to serve somebody else? That's the thing to me, you know?
Exactly. It's Simon Sinek's Start With Why. You know, understanding what the purpose of what you're doing is.
Yes.
Um, that is about it. Is there any offers you want to include, or how should people get a hold of you if they're looking to hire? What information would you like us to include from that standpoint?
Meraki Creative Corner. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm my worst marketing person because I spend so much time working on other people marketing that I fail on my own. Isn't that horrible? But when you're busy, I say I'm so busy that I don't need marketing because I always have things fall in my lap. Yeah, as a graphic designer, I'm still working on my own website. That is a sad thing. You can cut it out of the interview.
We'll make sure that doesn't make it. Yeah.
No, but um, Jelena Meraki at gmail.com. Email is always a great way to get a hold of me. Instagram and Facebook, Meraki Creative Corner.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And I look forward to seeing your business grow.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to do this morning.